A long-term review of these two battery cases. I actually got them because I worked as a bike courier, and therefore I also needed to expand my battery on my phone. What phone do I actually have? I have a Galaxy S10, that's this one. And the nice thing about a battery case obviously is that I don't use this one because it's a little bit harder to get the phone out again. The thing is, well, it just plugs into the USB-C port and then it just charges it. And you basically have your power bank and your phone in one hand, in one package, and that's pretty huge. So I bought these two cases. The one is called the Huygens case and the other one is called the Nudary case. I will link them both in the comments, I guess. Now the thing is, this one has a bigger battery. It also has USB-C. And it also has a stand, which is nice and neat, but it also doesn't connect as well. And this one connects very well, also has wireless charging, also has, theoretically data support, but the data support didn't really work. I mean, at least in my experience, and I tried it like 20 times with like 10 different cables, probably more like 5, but the thing is, in theory this is better. Both are kind of the same weight, even this is a little bit lighter. So this has 6,000 milliamp hours. Yeah, that's right. And this one has, I think, 4,000 milliamp hours, which is 4,700. But the thing is, this runs out of battery all the time, whereas this, I mean, it's a little bit more, therefore. The distinction is there and you feel it. You experience it. So now the next point is, how do you actually charge the phone? I think this case kind of realizes that the phone is like running out of battery and starts charging, but I'm not entirely sure because I didn't experiment around. But for this one, you have to press this button here and then it's on. This also means if you plug in the USB-A, that you now can use it as a power bank. And this is something that is really handy because, let's face it, we all kind of, if you don't have a phone that's like, has a very big battery and that lasts like 3 days, you should have a battery bank with you. And now the problem obviously is you got your phone, then you got your normal phone case, then you also got this battery case in case your phone runs out of battery and you are running out of groceries, for example, and you're standing in front of the grocery store and you don't have anything else but your phone with you because, well, modern times, and then you cannot pay with your phone. This is something that doesn't happen to all of us, but it happened to me. And so a battery case like this comes in handy. The problem obviously is that, well, now we have this battery case which is basically as big as a battery bank, and you just also could take the battery bank with you and therefore also charge other devices, which is a problem you have with this one. And the problem is obviously solved if you then have an additional USB port which acts as a USB port, therefore you can charge devices. Not only the device itself via cable, but also you can charge other devices. I actually didn't try it out, charging like the Galaxy S10 within the case, and also something else at the same time. Let's actually try this out. So I just have to get a cable. Maybe this one. Yeah, this one looks nice, and let's just try. So we turn on the charging on this, and now let's actually plug something in, like another device. Okay, so let's actually just plug in a power bank or the Galaxy Buds. I just have them here. So now let's connect them actually. And let's see if they charge. If they charge, the light will turn green. Yeah, it's red, but it charges. You don't need to turn green after they have finished. So therefore, this also works as a power bank, so you could charge your phone, hold it in your hand, and also have a cable connected to something else you want to charge, which is pretty nice because usually you have more than one devices to charge. The thing is, if you have additionally a smartwatch, then you have two devices that daily run out of battery and you have to charge daily, and therefore having a power bank with you. The thing is, obviously, you can charge the Galaxy Watch on a Samsung device, on one of the newer devices, on the back. But the thing is, that pretty much renders the phone infunctional for use, because if you have this on the back and you charge it wirelessly, which is something that is a very nice invention, and I have also used it at some point in time where I only had one charger and then I just put down the phone at night and I also put on the watch. But the problem obviously is that sometimes you want to use your phone, and also if you have a case on, then it doesn't really work. I do have a case which has like a magnetic thing for connecting it to a car holder, and therefore it doesn't really work. So now let's get back to these two cases. Charging speed, or charging for how long does it actually take charging up these? I mean, obviously they have like, if you look them up on Amazon, you will find the total charging amount. But in general, this one takes for ages, and this one is like a normal power bank. You just plug it in and then it's done. And this one is like, yeah, I plugged it in and it's not done. It's like still on like 1% or like 25%. So this one has 4 different things, 4 different lights, as you can see here. It doesn't even turn on. Oh yeah, it does turn on, but you just don't see it. And this one also has 4 different lights, which kind of look like a Wi-Fi signal. Kind of confusing. So in terms of using this kickstand, I used this kickstand before in the past when I watched, for example, science videos or other YouTube stuff when I was brushing my teeth. But therefore I had like a kickstand with me all the time. It's just that I don't do this anymore, therefore I also don't need the kickstand anymore for randomly showing things around. Therefore I don't actually have a use for this kickstand anymore. I mean, it's still handy to have it, because you also could record video using the kickstand, and with something like this you can't. The big hope I had was that I could record video like this one, and I actually am recording on my second Galaxy S10, which is basically the replacement for this one, because the other one is not working as fine anymore as it should. Now the problem is that the USB data connection, as I already had mentioned before, it doesn't work. I mean, it said it worked and I thought it would be super cool, but it doesn't. Therefore, whenever I transfer files from my phone to my notebook, or do need a cable, not a cable, but a data connection, actually I use a Zoom H6, so an external microphone, to via USB interface connected to with the USB-C of the Galaxy S10, and therefore I have the sound embedded into the video. The problem is that this doesn't also work. So it doesn't work as USB. As a USB data interface, or as a USB data port, it just doesn't work. And this was the big hope I had, that I could just put it in there and then record for ages, which I can't. So therefore, I still have like 2 phones, and I switch them whenever the phones are running out of battery, which in terms of recording full HD with the front camera is basically every 2 hours, or maybe every 3 hours. But I mean, these phones are not completely new. I got them refurbished because that's kind of a hack, I guess, but not in terms of battery. So as a final resolution, which one did I use actually for bike couriering? The problem is that additionally to the case, you also have to put all of the phone with the case into something else whenever it rains, for example, or also you have these bike pockets where you can actually put the phone in. Now, here's the nice thing about this one. It actually has kind of a very thin protection. So this means the rubber is actually like 1 millimeter above the screen. And since the Galaxy S10 still has kind of an edgy screen, which is not something that's quite useful, but it still has it, and it's still the last one with a USB, if you have audio jack, and also with 512 gigs in this size, I still have it. So therefore, I also need to use it. And here's the problem about this other one. It just doesn't protect the edges. Therefore, if you have a screen protector on, which this one doesn't, but it happened to me like 200 times, you take the phone and you actually put it in somewhere into a pocket, and then the screen protector just rips off, because the screen protector is basically on all of these edges. And if you put it in, the screen protector comes off, and then you cannot use it anymore because, well, what I actually found out, you can still use the screen protector. You have to wash it like very carefully with soap, and then also maybe with alcohol. Just clean it, and you can just reuse it kind of. It's not as nice as before, but it's kind of a hack. In terms of charging, we covered both. I don't have a wireless charger, therefore I haven't tested the wireless charging, but I guess it works, just like the data port. And I also didn't send it back because of the data port, because, well, usually the information there is kind of not the most reliable at all. I had like several things off of Amazon, and then, for example, USB hubs, and then you connect them and they just deconnect all the time. Then you get a replacement thing, and then it also doesn't work. And then, Well, it goes on and on and on and on. Therefore, as a final resolution, the thing is, I only wanted to keep one, but I kept both because I kind of needed both. Because when also wanted to try out both, which is in terms of price not really the most ideal thing, since this was like 45 bucks. I mean, that's pretty expensive for a battery bank, and this was like 30, I guess. So 30 euros, and this was like 45 or even 50 euros. I mean, it has wireless charging and things like this, but almost 50 euros for a battery case is pretty expensive. Also, obviously, you get these battery cases only for the phones that sell that are sold very much. Why? Because I know for like smaller phones or for like more niche phones or like the Galaxy A line, maybe there exists something, but for example, now it's 2021 and these phones are from 2019 and I could only buy these two cases later, as of now. And yeah, well, it's obviously the problem if you buy phones that are not phones everybody gets, and therefore battery cases also only are made for these kind of devices, because otherwise, in terms of economics, it's probably not something that's viable. Which one would I choose if I went on travel? Probably this one, because it just is more like, I do have my phone within the battery case, even though I have to take it out of the battery case for connecting my microphone to it. And this makes it kind of both kind of unusable. I mean, in an ideal scenario, you would just have a thicker phone. You could just use it and also transfer files with it. But this is not the case, and these were the only two cases that were still available on Amazon at least. And if you get stuff like this from eBay, then well, in terms of, oh yeah, the USB data is not functioning, then you don't really have... Obviously, sometimes you have somebody who is like, yeah, I just send you another one, but you just want to have like a secure shop, I guess. And even though Amazon and returning things is like not the ideal situation, I mean, that's kind of dark design if you think about it. At least that's to my experience. You search for a return on Amazon that's like not 30 days because it's like warranty, and then you click on it, and then you don't even find the button to message the seller. After you have to search like 3 or 4 times, and then you're on the product page again, and you just don't have any. It's just so badly made by design, and that's called dark design. So finally, as a resolution, this one is the more powerful case. This one is the case theoretically that would be like on the device all the time, and this one is also kind of risky because the thing is, I mean, you get the USB port in by actually putting it in like this, therefore it's already in an angle. And now, if this thing falls out and actually turns a little bit more than now, then your USB port kind of breaks, I guess. And that's high risk for something like a $500 or $600 or $700 phone. And therefore, yeah, well, I mean, also you can't just take out the phone. Another big bummer is the thing, if you pay contactless with a battery case, well, it obviously does not work as well. Therefore, you have to take your phone out in the supermarket, which puts your phone at risk of falling down and then totally breaking, because that's something these phones do, because they are made out of glass. I mean, it's kind of very not optimal if you think about it, like making these phones completely out of glass, but that's something that just happens these days, and if you drop them and you don't have a screen protector on and the thing falls onto something that's like metal or stone, then the screen is broken. And yeah, that's kind of sad, but that's the reality, and therefore taking things out of the case whenever you're not in your home, where everything is like, yeah, the worst case would be that it would just fall onto the sofa or onto the couch. If you're out in the real world and you take out your phone out of the case, then, well, chances are it might fall down and actually crack. So that's a final resolution. Both not really ideal, but if you really need one, actually get one of these.